Terrifier 3 and the Decay of American Culture. The descent of our culture into absolute moral decay can be tracked by mainstream horror movies, and in particular the increasing regularity in which children are fair game. It may be the last taboo to wear down and obliterate in this culture. In recent years we've seen real-life cannibalism, so that achievement has been unlocked, and more we see yet another story of a migrant killing a native child. Protection of our children is the last bastion we have as far as preservation of our souls and culture and people go. This is not to mention, of course, the rampant sexualizing of children, from the Netflix cuties to drag queen story hour to outright promotion of pedophilia, or, minor attracted persons. This had all come together with the outright and blatantly stated purpose for the Nashville trans shooter Audrey Hale, who wrote in her unpublished and hidden by authorities manifesto her express purpose to kill white children. We've seen many white children murdered in the past 6 years alone, from Waukesha to Ireland most recently. And when the races of the murdered and killers are spoken of, the mantra of our governments are, "that doesn't matter," and the solution is more stringent hate speech laws. Does art imitate reality or vice versa? Here in America, the horror movie has long been the favorite pastime for many, but why? They are gruesome and sadistic and celebrate such a depravity that it bewilders the mind. Everyone, including children at some point, are exposed to these films, either by accident or deliberately. This is our art form, folks. This is what has been given to us as high art. But this is not the stuff of spiritual enlightenment of a society. These are not grandiose statues celebrating ideals, or Gothic cathedrals. These are brutalist architecture and abstract corporate art. Quite the opposite. As the invasion of France continues, we see an art style that can claim its origins from there. It's called French extremity films. Films like Inside and Martyrs show extreme gore of innocent victims and justify it all with a loose pseudo-philosophical justification. And this includes a woman shoving scissors into a pregnant woman's womb and an entire white family within the opening of the film being slaughtered by gunshot. But where is the pretentious, loose philosophical justifications for realistic snuff films in the narrative here in America? There is none. An argument for that it is high art is non-present because it clearly revels in the schlock of it, the gross non-seriousness of it. Peak nihilism has been attained as the economy falls apart, as murder has increased, as the courts and justice system has all been totally shown to be compromised, and every citizen of these incorporated United States and Washington, D.C. is farmed to send trillions for wars on behalf of Israel that include the wholesale slaughter of children. Our entertainment includes fun romps, though, that include the sadistic torture of women and children at the same time. It's just good, harmless fun, and I'm sure this activity is not lost on our newcomer friends, who also enjoy a good pornographic video, made for profit, and depicts misogynistic sexual abuse of young white girls, real abuse, on video. Pornography is openly sexual abuse, and these horror movies are openly psychological warfare. They up the ante, so to speak, in disturbing scenes and imagery. All the special effects and new narrative devices are employed to get you, the viewer, invested in the characters, and then the realistic deaths of increasingly innocent people are presented for your and our children's contemplation and meditation on the screen. Which brings us to Terrifier 3. Fans of the Terrifier series will tell you that they identify as mentally ill, sick, and addicted to pornography. Or maybe not. Maybe they're normal presenting and just so happen to enjoy depraved movies. Is there another kind these days? The former, however, is the goal, and we see, especially among teens, the adopted identities by this crowd become weirder and weirder, more perverted. This is another way of saying broken psychologically. But hey, who isn't? As the movie Joker has shown us, people identify as mentally ill and consider it a healthy response to do so to an increasingly unhealthy and predatory culture. I have PTSD, trauma, anxiety, and I can't go outside. Yeah, because society is shit, and our art reflects that. We're being socially engineered whether you'd like to admit it or not. Look at what we tolerate. School shootings are commonplace, and missing children, murdered children is all over the news. But don't be racist, because that would be the worst thing. As every single politician is in lockstep praising and defending a foreign country, and the issue of public decency here at home is basically non-existent, our movie industry churns out sophisticated psychological warfare products packaged as edgy art and expertly designed to turn you into a pervert and antisocial person or anxiety-ridden. Ugly art celebrating depravity is a sign of decay. And in the decaying corpse of America, we can at least enjoy movies like the TERRIFIER series, why not? Why is pornographic scenes of a young girl being gleefully tortured and torn apart by a Semitic supernatural killer clown not the stuff of high art? His name, by the way, is Art. Are we manifesting these scenes into reality by entertaining this quote-unquote art collectively? Of course, we have already seen such scenes in real life unfold. Why not beauty, though? Or hope or love for our people? Because that would be racist or considered antichrist, right? In today's Abrahamic culture, anything other than horror movies feel disingenuine. Where is the art that brings us close to a felt shared experience of the genuine? Does genuineness even exist anymore? Why is this the art of our culture? What is happening psychologically when we watch scenes like this unfold? We view it in terms of relationships, and it's usually a triangulation. The victim is somebody who has a close tie relationship to the other person in the scene, and so we identify as one of these people in the triangle. No longer do these scenes depict a murder in isolation so that later the corpse can be found. The killing takes place in front of the loved one in real time. Which role do you assume? Are you the one watching your friend/loved one/child being tortured to death helplessly by the killer clown? Certainly your ego wouldn't have you identify with the victim in the situation, even though you can certainly feel via empathy what must be going through her mind. Or are you the psychopathic, sadistic killer who is in control and dominates the whole scene? I wonder why so many women have crippling anxiety. Could it be they're the main consumer of these movies? I wonder why so many boys and men suffer from a lack of job opportunities, sexual addiction, and depraved pornographic mind. Could it be these cultural media products? Who isn't desensitized to gruesome violence and psychological taboo-breaking murder depicted and packaged as a consumer product and marketed as amusing these days? In other words, who still has to be exposed to this digital psychological warfare? The last taboo to break is murder of children as entertainment. Films like Cannibal Holocaust alluded to the violence to children, perversely by cutting away from a particularly violent or gruesome scene to children playing. If you've seen this film, perhaps you felt uneasy by the film but didn't catch the juxtaposition, or you didn't see what they were doing there. We've come so far in the wasteland of America. What innovation, how cutting edge. The director of Terrifier 3 draws you, the viewer, into a wholesome scene of a middle-class family bedroom. Little girl sleeping, and of course Santa is Art, the clown, with an axe, and it doesn't show the little girl being tortured to death and murdered, and he writing his name on the wall, but that is the message. It's played up for the camera, and obviously the message is that Terrifier 3 will be more depraved, more sadistic, and taboo-breaking than the prior two. In the last one, wasn't it funny when the children pulled candy out of the mother's decapitated head? High art. So fun. Much edgy. No, it's not. It's just perverted for perversion's sake, and now you are too for having enjoyed it. The first one, there was a BDSM scene where a nude woman is sawed in half while her friend watched. In the second, a young woman is torn to pieces in her bed in a drawn-out orgiastic scene of destruction just so her mother can find her in her last moments of death. Of course, Art thinks this is hilarious, and so do you, right? Good job. You've been degraded, spiritually and psychologically. You've been conditioned to not only accept this, but erode your ability to empathize with other human beings. Obviously, the trailer for Terrifier 3 takes us right to the money shot scene. Do you see what they're doing there? I can't wait to see the convincing special effects of that little girl being filleted alive. Maybe she's actually Palestinian, so it's okay. Maybe Art sodomizes the child with an object first. The imagination geared toward thinking this way is an imagination utilized to its fullest potential. What genius! Will you think it's edgy or transgressive in a titillating way to seeing this? Do you think zombie movies are a metaphor? Do you consider yourself the zombie, or the survivor of the zombie horde in such a scenario? I wonder. Hey, why don't you just go to the real stuff, actual snuff films on the black market? Since Pizzagate, I think we have an idea of what the super elites are up to. Long have been rumored of it. And look at the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. And they are socially engineering us to be just like them via the media. I think we have an idea of what the super elites are up to. Long have been rumored of it. And look at the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. And they are socially engineering us to be like them. Or accept what they get up to via the media. It is psychological warfare. And if you're not checking out, then you're the frog being boiled. Who are you? The victim, the traumatized watcher, or the killer? You've got to pick one. Just as a non-related aside, when was the last non-toxic relationship you've had? I bump into narcissists and psychopaths seemingly every day now. Anyway, thanks for watching. Boycott, boycott, boycott psychological warfare, and keep your sanctity of mind. The inside of your head, your imagination, should be considered a holy place and sanctuary. These psychopaths want to take that from you and fill it with dread, anxiety, perversion, and horror. Peace.